I've often said here on the show that one of the most sort of divisive sort of stories when you think about it is that of Edward and Mrs. Simpson. And I think it's really because of a time when people were just utterly shocked that someone would walk away from the monarchy, you know, the sort of thing. There he decided, of course, to, well, walk away from the life that he'd known for the woman that he loved. You know, people have told me over the time that have, were around in that particular period, or indeed related to that event, that he always thought, that was the king, of course, that eventually, the royals would crumble and just give in. And it is a bit like history repeating itself, isn't it, when you think with Harry and Meghan? Because I sort of felt that, my feeling was that Wallace Simpson not really that bothered, but of course he really wanted to hold on to that role. And I always thought that eventually he believed, well, even right up until the hour of him giving that now famous speech, things would take a turn in his favour. Obviously, as we know, in the land of history, it didn't. But now what's fascinating is the villa just on the outskirts of Paris is currently being renovated. That's right, completely renovated, now free from the hands of the former Harrods tycoon Mohammed Al Fayed, who apparently sold literally everything, including the light fittings from the original villa. And what I think is fascinating about this, you have to remember that Edward and Mrs. Simpson, Wallace, and of course David as he was known, lived in this villa on and off more or less for 30 years, apparently waiting in vain for that very long call, well, the call back as he thought would happen at any point. And I think what's fascinating also is that when you talk to people who were there, apparently they had people in sort of liveried uniforms and stuff like that. Kind of strange to think, isn't it, when you look back? But now, as I said, it's set to be completely refurbished and opened as part of the national heritage, which I think is a wonderful idea. And I truly think that this would be a phenomenal success. One idea floating around, though, is this. Would it be possible? Yes. Could it be possible, in fact, to get someone like, well, you know who? Yes, Prince Harry or indeed Meghan Markle to actually launch the reopening. Now, I kid you not, this is being talked about behind closed doors. Where I think is fascinating about this is people say, oh, no, he wouldn't do it. Let's not forget, this, of course, is Harry who's done a lot via his book Spare, and similarly with Meghan Markle. And as we saw recently, he decided to sign on for a lot of money, allegedly, via NBC and the late night chat show host Jimmy Kimmel for his nightmares. So he's not really fussed about doing stunts for cash, you get the picture. This would possibly be a stage too far, but again, you truly never know. They're hopeful, once it's now been put back together, etc., that they may at least get some kind of support. This allegedly was going to be the home that Princess Diana, Harry's mother, was going to move into with her alleged beau, Dodi Al Fayed, once they were married, according to Mohammed Al Fayed. Did anybody really believe that story? But as I say, to get some new royal stardust sprinkled upon this at a reopening really would get the world's media interested. I'm not quite sure if they need Harry and Meghan, but on the other side of the coin, Meghan and Harry might need the cash. Who knows? Neil Sean in the very heart of London.